everybody, my name is Sleepy or Rainer, whatever the hell you want to call me, and I am here with a couple of lovely people today who are going to educate me on something I know very niche things about. So we're just going to take a hot second to spread our links around, get people talking, get people watching. While I do that, would my two lovely guests like to introduce themselves?
Hi, I'm B. I was here last time.
He was.
Hi, I'm Midnight. I was also here last time. Jazz hands.
I
can't believe we have our own space, and we have a captive audience of people who are going to listen to us talk about our hyperfixation. B.
Hi, I'm captive audience. Because here's the beautiful thing: even if I don't show up. Or wait, I have to show up. It's my stream. I got that backwards. Even if people don't show up, you have me, is what I was trying to say. Yeah. I'm so good at talking, and I'm like a professional, and I've been streaming for over a year.
You're a professional Twitch streamer.
And we're doing art.
I think I did it wrong in the one place.
I don't know what I'm going to be drawing. I might just be drawing ROCs, just because it's fun.
Good.
Maybe I'll draw.
I'll send you Maeve.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
mean
say...
you're gonna give me Maeve art? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, send me Maeve and Rumor, and I'll draw our fucking because new
DMs
is
or
MTG.
yet?
You can put him either or. Hi, Kara.
Where is she? Where is my beautiful daughter? Holding out a self-insert. See, don't look at me.
I forgot you were still Prophet of Long Christmas on my server. Fun fact, I did. Though the event is over, I let you and Michael keep your roles.
Thank you. Jazz hands. What is Long Christmas? Is it real and Prophet of Long Christmas?
We love being...
It's the season.
Tis
for
the
long
season
Christmas.
For long Christmas. And like a Happy New Year.
Do.
That was probably timed horribly in like real life.
But it was good for us.
It was great for us.
Yeah.
Nope.
Did you almost get some of a ferret in there? Some ferret walk?
Yeah. Hi,
Nice.
Kyle! Hi, Chrissy!
Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
everything is underneath the window capture. I'm gonna fix that real quick. I love streaming. And...
You should check morning paper, by the way, B. Hi, Kyle. And there's Krista here, and there's Kara.
There's Krista.
We have friends.
And there's Kara.
Yeah.
We have friends.
We have victims.
We have victims.
I have 10,000 sleepy dust.
One moment.
I'm glad you have a lot of sleepy dust. You can use it to make me do things. I feel like people never remember to use them. Oh god, I'm actually in an unfortunate position. We're actually in a stream where you fuckers could make me sing and then I'd have to cry about it.
I will not make you sing because, one, that would be antithetical to the purpose that I am here for,
Yeah,
which is,
you
educate you about MTG!
You guys are supposed to educate me.
Okay.
But alright, I'm just gonna make a tweet and then we're ready to get started. I can give y'all my full love and attention.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be starting. B might be grabbing food at this unopportune moment in time. But I could start. Don't worry. I can carry us.
Will you carry me in your strong, beautiful wife hands?
Unfortunately, I have weak little noodle arms.
Weasel.
But I can maybe offer a piggyback ride. Possibly. Despite the fact that you are noticeably taller than me.
Quite.
You are like 5 inches taller than me.
Me? Kind of gay? Listen, I have beautiful wives, and Midnight is one of them. And no, I'm not going to explain the bit for the sake of stream.
Please explain the bit for the sake of stream!
Midnight is my beautiful wife, and that's all you guys need to know, and I have more beautiful wives than Midnight.
For legal reasons, that is a joke. For legal reasons, we are joking.
Why? Is having beautiful wives against Twitch TOS? I always
Kristen's calling you out.
Sleepy was
I
Molly.
always knew Sleepy was Molly. Calling you the fuck out, Sleepy. Do 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 do.
Hey, Dregmech. Hello there, noodly
Hey,
armed person,
GDQ's
floof
up?
sheep, and California fish? I don't... Wait, I need to know. Who's who? Is Midnight the noodly person? Oh, you would be the noodle person. Because you said you had noodle arms.
You're
So,
the sheep.
I'm the sheep.
That makes B the California.
Why
Oh,
is bee in
because
California?
bees are classified as fish in California.
Bees are fish in California?
You've never heard of you didn't hear this?
No, please tell me.
Okay. So California in the Senate, they were trying to protect bees as not just as an endangered species, but as just a protected creature that you can't hurt. However, it's never been done for a bug before, so they were having a lot of trouble writing specific documentation for bees to protect them. So it turns out that in most seaside or in most I guess not landlocked. What's the opposite of landlocked? Coastal. There we go. Coastal states, they have very strict laws protecting fish. Incredibly strict laws. I know the laws up where I live, which may or may not be north of California. Don't worry about it. Has very strict laws about fish, and so in order to protect bees easier, they just called bees a fish, so that all of the established California law about fish would apply to bees.
Amazing. 1 second. Hi, Jenny! I think the opposite of landlocked would be an island. That's fun. You can't see anything for a second just because I am very quickly gathering reference images. I'm going to draw our Blorbos because I do actually technically already have a Magic the Gathering setting OC because I met B and Midnight, more specifically Midnight, through New Capenna.
Wait, for those not in the know, there is a server out there called the New Capenna server, and it's us and a bunch of our friends. Some notable people you may know are people like Xander from Crit Failsafe or Bro Dingles. And then you have me as well. Smiles.
Yes, the amazing Midnight Blue, who's a writer on Realm Jumper and is going to be coming out with a new show called Tales from the Mist, and you all should watch it when it drops. I'm going to be screaming about it on every social media platform when it drops.
Thank you. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I am doing stuff.
Fun fact.
I mentioned the people who are already doing stuff. It'll be going up on Spotify and YouTube because it is a podcast.
It's a podcast, and I got to sit in for one of the episodes, and it's fucking amazing.
I just have to learn how to audio edit.
You poor baby. I love you so dearly. I wish you nothing but love and kisses. But I can now bring
I'll
the stream
figure it
back.
out. I'm a strong, independent young woman.
You are a strong, independent young woman, and I'm proud of you. But no, I just realized I might have some saved references that I can't show. Real quick, double checking before I accidentally like show a Realm Jumper spoiler.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, that's
no. There's immediately opened a Realm Jumper spoiler, so I'm glad I thought about that.
Oh, you're a genius, Sleepy.
They wouldn't be inherent, like, you wouldn't know just looking at them, but I would have known, and that would have been bad, because everyone in the cast would have been like, Sleepy, what the fuck? Sleepy, what the fuck? And I would have been like, no. Here, I'm gonna quickly delete from my photos, a lot of things. No. It's fine. I'm just going to justify this as, we are stalling for B. That is the justification.
I can start whatever you want, but we can absolutely stall for B for however long it takes.
Yeah, we can just stall for a little bit while I delete potential things I should not show to the public.
B wanted to be the one to do the introduction because he can do it succinctly, but I am confident in my ability to be concise too about the basic building blocks we're going to need for this discussion.
Oh, I'm no longer streaming for Mid and B?
No, you have because we switched calls.
Oh shit! Thank you for telling me.
I'm just watching your stream, watching your stream.
Okay, well I'll pull it up for you very soon.
Okay, cool. Because I don't know if you're playing the music through that. Cause
yeah, I was playing the music through that.
Yeah, because I just pull up your stream, but it's muted whenever I'm on stream with you.
Yeah, don't worry, I got you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oof. That's rough, man.
Some...
I've been dizzy all day, too. It's been a sick. Everyone I know has been getting sick this past few days. Take some Tylenol.
Yeah, please, everyone take care of yourselves. That's my request. I humbly request that you all take good care of yourselves. Let me pull the Let's View back up. There we go.
Look at that little Discord thingamajig. Hey!
Yeah. Sorry you're dealing with that.
Look at the cuties.
So we got some cuties. This art and this art were both done by friend of the channel, Juno. That's Krova. On like all social
He's very
media.
cool.
He's so cool.
You should follow him, and you should commission him because he makes very good art.
His commissions are open right now, and this was done by our friend Michael, Brave Singer Michael. They don't have a ton of social media, but important.
He does have he has the Instagram. Yeah, Michael has Instagram, right?
I think it's Brave Singer Michael everywhere. But yeah, this was...
Yeah, you can see some of Michael's work. They do a lot of not digital art. The fuck is that called?
Traditional art.
Traditional art. They do a lot of traditional art. A lot of really cool stuff.
I always forget how to spell Maeve's name correctly.
Maeve. It's the easiest of the Celtic names to say.
But yeah, we have
you
Willow.
Spelled Rumor wrong.
What?
You spelled Rumor wrong. He needs a U in there.
That is a U. R-U-M-O. Oh, you are. That feels incorrect.
I mean, that's how you do it in Canada.
Oh, that's
if you're an American,
because you're fucking Canadian. You fucking Canadian. Okay, so I actually used to get in trouble as a kid because when we were learning spelling, apparently I just kept spelling things the Canadian way. Like I kept putting a U in color. But Willow belongs.
You're amazing. You spelled things correctly when you were a child, Sleepy.
New Capenas in Canada confirmed. But yes, Willow is my OC, Maeve is Midnight's, and Rumor is Bees. And I'm gonna doodle them for a little bit. And I accidentally put these all on the same fucking...
You're really cool. As we start talking about Magic the Gathering, because it's fucking cool. And more people should learn about this children's card game.
Yeah.
Actually, don't.
Here's the problem. I am getting forcefully dragged into this children cards game hyperfixation because they have a new on top of just New Capenna, because originally it was just very isolated. Oh yeah, I'm into New Capenna, and that's it. That's all I really ever knew and will know about Magic the Gathering. And then Midnight and B wouldn't shut the fuck up about the Phyrexians. I really like the Phyrexians.
We're gonna get there.
I know we're gonna get there, but I'm giving the lore, the context, the deep-seated reasons as to why we're here today. But B and Midnight started telling me about the fucking Phyrexians, and I'm obsessed. They're so fucked up and weird.
Right. Yes. Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast's other multi-billion-dollar franchise. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do some really basic stuff about the IRL shit, and then I'll transition into lore. Hopefully, I'm stalling for B a little bit because B's getting some nom-noms. He's munching. But okay. So Magic the Gathering is a TCG, or a trading card game, very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon, or Legends of Runeterra, if you're my friend Burnt. Legends of Runeterra is the League of Legends version.
I think you mean our
Magic
beautiful
the Gathering...
wife Burnt.
Our beautiful wife Burnt. So Magic the Gathering originally started in the 90s as a kid in his basement made a bunch of cool cards for his friends to play with. And it kind of caught on from there. Magic is one of the archetypical TCGs. It is certainly one of the oldest, back from the 90s, and it really was made by just some kid in his basement making a cool game for his friends. That's why alpha and beta versions of Magic, which are the first two sets, are, well, they're kind of broken, they're kind of silly, they're kind of out there, they're a lot of fun. But we're here to talk about the lore of Magic the Gathering. So in Magic the Gathering, Magic the Gathering is by its very nature a multiversal story. So you are dealing with a big wide multiverse with lots of different planes of existence. So these planes are what people live on. They're the planets. They're yes, I think an accurate way to be saying they were planets, except they don't really. That's not how you really would conceive of them. But you call them planes. Similar to, unlike, say, the Marvel DC universe. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. The Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DC Cinematic Universe. These are not just a multiverse in that there's a whole bunch of the same characters repeated, but in that there is just bajillion of different worlds. All the planes of Magic are very unique and have a very unique feel to them.
Surprising, the people who work on Parallel to Anywhere and Realm Jumper really like multiverse stuff.
Yes, we do.
Shock.
Now, shock. Oh, hi, B. Let me see if I can just lay the groundwork out for B a little bit here. Yes, planes. Different places in the multiverse. All very unique and different, and are all very cool. You may be familiar with a couple of planes already, as D&D has made sourcebooks for a couple, namely Ravnica, Theros, and Strixhaven. They're all very cool.
One of those might be the reason that we're here tonight.
Potentially.
Yes, it is.
It's almost like I have a stream tomorrow. Bink's eyes, this little makes this face at you.
Anyway, there are certain people who are able to travel between planes, and I will let B explain those type of people.
Yes. Okay. So, how do I sound, by the way?
You sound great.
You sound good.
You sound like B.
Cool.
You sound like B.
So, Midnight's right. There are planes and people who go between them. These are planeswalkers. They are a card type, they're a selling point, they're extremely good marketing, and they're also a big integral part of the story. For a multiversal story to exist, you need people who can traverse more than one world, and thus enter the planeswalkers. They've been around since pretty much as long as this card game has had lore, which is a strange sentence in and of itself, but that's another day. But for the sake of what we're talking about for Sleepy Stream and for this discussion, let's just keep it simple. A planeswalker is someone who can travel the multiverse. They get this ability from, well, kind of luck.
Luck, hardship and loss, and a spark.
Yes, I will let you take that because you segued real good.
Okay, so a planeswalker initially becomes into being when they are put into a state of extreme stress and emotional turmoil. For instance, we had someone in a planeswalking game, get his spark because he confronted his feelings about his dead father. There is a very famous planeswalker who was almost, I believe Vraska got her spark because she was in prison and was getting beaten to death, and she planeswalked out of there.
We love that for her.
We love that for her. Vraska's amazing.
Here, actually, I have a Planeswalker OC. I'm gonna doodle real quick.
Yeah. So in times of great emotional or physical distress, your spark ignites. This is an innate ability that has to be called forth via this traumatic moment.
Trauma is the most common. There are some outliers.
Oh yeah.
As time has progressed, the technically more correct statement is that it's a moment of high emotion. This is, and while deep traumatic backstory things sure do the trick for when you're making a character, these do not always have to be negative. A couple of famous exceptions to the rule is the Satyr Xenagos, who became a planeswalker quite literally after partying so hard.
Sometimes.
Love him.
Xenagos is great. I'm trying to remember the other one.
Remembering individual characters' backstories is pretty difficult. There's a lot of them. I'm trying to help you out here.
There was like one other whose thing does not come from like negative.
I mean, I'm drawing one whose backstory doesn't come from negative.
Oh, who are you drawing?
Oh, who do you think I'm drawing? What does he look like to you? Who's my one planeswalker OCB?
Ethan.
It's Ethan.
Ethan. Fucking amazing.
I think you need to explain Ethan. He's very important to the lore.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi Layla. So this is my planeswalker OC Ethan. He's a human. Doesn't have any fancy class or anything. I don't even know what it would be. I think technically sorcerer, because in some canon he goes to a magic school, but I can't talk about that. But his name is Ethan, and he is gay. And his grandpa owns an amusement park. That's your name? Oh no, Dreg! Oh no. Well, congrats, you.
Equiamus Pache.
Equiamus Pache, my man. You share a name with my sweet baby boy, Ethan. His name is Ethan. He is gay, and I still haven't entirely decided if he got his spark, if his spark awoke when he realized he was gay, or if it happened on a roller coaster. But certainly was one of those.
Yeah.
He's very important, clearly.
Jenny
was
said
pretty
Basri was pretty positive.
Yeah, though I think Basri had to do with like realizing he would continue on after what happened to Amonkhet.
We're gonna get to Amonkhet.
Full of emotions, that one.
But yes, intense emotional turmoil, I guess, and your spark ignites, and you become a planeswalker, and are able to traverse the multiverse, along with the ability to travel about the multiverse. Usually in canon, you get a super special power that's unique to you, that's powered by your spark.
It's usually not super laid out so much as it is what you were already good at, but better.
Yeah. For instance, there's one guy who just becomes invincible. He dies.
Spoilers.
Because spoilers for what? War of the Spark? You think I care? We're gonna get to that.
Some Gideon homie in the chat's crying right now.
Listen, Gideon's a good boy. I do enjoy the card where he's riding on top of Rakdos. I enjoy that card.
Anyway,
we're talking about weird shit again.
we are.
We are. Focusing back on track. Planeswalkers get a special ability. It can be range anything from you are literally invincible. The reason I make this as a joke is because both of the planeswalkers who have become invincible have died. And just I think Jace got better at mind magic or telepathy or just being a better fucking weird ass mage.
He's blue. What else do you think he does?
He's blue. He's blue. Teferi got better at being a time traveler, I'm pretty sure. Kaya got better at being fucking amazing. Blows kissies. No, she got better at killing ghosts. Anyway. I'm trying to think. My Planeswalker OC turns into a dragon.
Yes.
Callista, my beloved. I love that haunts.
He's not a horse. She's a dragon.
Someone
You're gonna confuse the
Callista
chat,
haunts.
Sleepy, about my character. Anyway, So, these planeswalkers travel the multiverse, and these characters are the foundation on which the Magic story is written on. Most, if not every story involves planeswalkers going to... Actually, every single story involves planeswalkers going to a different realm we haven't seen before, going back to a plane we have seen, just basically doing their best planeswalking lives and suffering because of it. Because there are evil planeswalkers too. Because of course there are just the worst, like Nico Bolas, the worst person to ever exist. Or Tezzeret. I hate him. Just me personally hate this man.
And sometimes there's worse things than planeswalkers out there.
Damn, some there is, and maybe we'll get to that.
I'd like to, because I know what you're talking about.
Yes. So I believe we want to talk about turning planes into source books. Is that that was what we were going to talk about? Just some of the different planes about Magic as well.
Yes, because Strixhaven is tomorrow for Sleepy's viewers.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about my version of Strixhaven is, yes, it does take from the lore of Magic the Gathering, but also, in my version of Strixhaven, it is multiversal, specifically designed so that any setting will intermingle with it, including my setting, Rivenera, which is where Elementals Incarnate takes place, not where Curse of Strahd takes place, but where my next campaign, Circus of Dreams, will take place. And as I've been slowly revealing who my players are for Circus of Dreams, would the players in this call for Circus of Dreams like to say hi?
Hello.
Hi. I think we timed that perfectly, B. There is one other foundational piece of Magic lore that you will need before we start talking about that, though. And that is the color wheel.
It's better alignment.
It's better alignment, TLDR, because it takes into account what the character wants. There are 5 colors: white, black, green, red, blue. Some of them are in opposition to each other. Some of them are really good at being best buddies. But all of them want different things out of life and what they would consider a success. No one color is inherently good or bad. There are good and bad people from all different color pies, from all different color combinations too. You can have all the way up to you can have monocolor, dual color, tricolor, 4 color, and then of course 5 color. In Magic, this in the actual card game, this is an important mechanic. But for our purposes, for lore purposes, you can be evil or good and be any sort of combination of colors. It just matters how you go about your goals and what you want. I don't think we'll explain what every color wants. It's just you want a different thing. It's easiest to explain like that.
The best way to explain the difference is the black color of the color wheel. People associate it with the bad guys, and that is where you get your like zombies and your creepy vampire art and stuff. But all the color really means is that they are entities focused on self-ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas white typically is depicted with your paladin types, your Pegasi, your more regal looking things. But all white means that they are either order or community oriented.
And so you can very easily have a white paladin who puts his community above all others and tries to kill everything that's not his community, which we would consider bad. And we can have someone who's very focused on their own ambitions, but they are ambitions to fix their plane and make their world a better place, which we would consider, a good.
So the colors actually do not dictate morality in any sense.
No.
Which is why I like to call it better alignment, because it actually gives you more information than alignment does.
Gives you a lot more information than alignment.
I kind of want to know what the colors represent now, if only because I'm staring at my MTGOC and I don't know where the fuck she lands.
Sure, I'll put it in chat. There's a straight up article that is quite literally someone diving deep into all 5 colors and what they mean, and gives examples. It's a long article. It's titled "How the MTG Color Wheel Explains Humanity Move Over Myers-Briggs." But I will read you their sentence summation of each color. So green is harmony through acceptance. Red is freedom through action. Black is satisfaction through ruthlessness. Blue is perfection through knowledge. And white is peace through order. So the best one, the one example is the archetypical white it's like of a functioning, helpful, peaceful society is just as aligned in white as 1984.
That follows.
Technically, they both follow the white ideal of peace through order.
We should also
blue...
probably...
No, you could go. You go.
You can explain a little bit more of the colors. You will also notice that there are opposing colors. So white is the opposite of black, blue is the opposite of red, and green is the opposite of...
Yes.
Kind of black.
I don't remember what... Black-ish. Aesthetic. Asterisk. These opposing colors... Yeah, there's only 5 of them. That's why I'm running out. These opposing colors doesn't mean you can't have a character that is black-white or that is red-blue. It just means that they have some contrast within them. They also have some, I guess, convergent or friend colors. This would be black-blue or red-white or black-green. No,
actually, it's technically an enemy color.
Or red white's technically enemy. What's
green and black?
White green.
White
green is buddies, and then it's red green.
Red green and red
They're
black.
usually. Yeah, red green and red black.
So
it's a long story.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So what I'm getting is, if I wanted to give Willow one, it would probably be a black-white card, because she's an undead, but she also has a big focus on community.
I will read you what black-white means in the article. Black-white typically forms us versus them mentalities. Someone who is in black-white will ask the question of, who's in my circle of concern? So, effectively, who do I need to ensure their safety? And who cares about anybody else?
Ah. That's a tough choice, then.
No, you.
I mentioned her a little bit beforehand, but Callista, my character, is black-white because she focuses a lot on the bigger picture, she focuses a lot on community, but she also really wants not only certain people to stay alive, but she's willing to do anything to achieve her goals, which is a very black ambition. She's willing to put it all on the line. Doesn't care what it takes to. She doesn't care what people she has to literally go through. She will enact what she thinks is right. This makes her black-white. Black-white is also my favorite color combination to play in Magic the Gathering.
That's fair. Also,
Yeah.
I got a question. It is not super clear on Rumor's Ref. Is his other pupil also slit-shaped?
Yes.
Thank you.
I will say the full article does this for every single color duo and trio. It's really cool. But no, genuinely, consider thinking about the color pairs or trios for your next character, because it genuinely gives a lot of information in a very concise amount of space. Because for someone who knows, like, let me grab what Rumor's three colors are, which is black, red, and blue. Yes, so Grixis. This is a bold and impassioned search for satisfaction, perfection, and self-expression, an eagerness to break the status quo and remake things in your own image, a disregard for tradition. The well-behaved rarely make history, is the ideal of those three colors.
Nice. That's an ideal I can get behind.
Oh yeah.
So that's how the color wheel works. And you can have good or bad people on any set of colors. It's really cool. I enjoy it a lot. But that little thing aside, to talk about the really cool things that we think would be really good books in the future, we should talk about the books that already exist. And potentially why they exist. Do you want to talk about those first? I went off for a minute.
Sure, of course. I'll start with Ravnica because I think it's the one everyone knows the most. Ravnica is, for all intents and purposes, the plane of magic, and it's not hard to see why. Ravnica embodies what makes MTG MTG. This is because of the guilds. Now, it's actually not very common to play monocolored in Magic. You most often play dual-colored, or just any types of cards. And all 10 of the possible dual colors are represented in Ravnica's guilds. There are 10 guilds in Ravnica, and they represent all the 10 different color combinations between the 5 colors.
Yes.
Ravnica is a huge city plane, which also makes it incredibly interesting. It's got a whole bunch of... It's really good for all the politics between all the different guilds and how they all interact with each other and how they're all kind of struggling for control, but none of them can ever take full control because fundamentally they all need to work together. All of the guilds on Ravnica cover a different aspect of the city's production that it needs. For instance, the Golgari, which are black-green, you might think, what do they do? Well, they handle all the agriculture. So they're kind of necessary. You kind of need them. They grow the food. They also have a lot of fungi as their aesthetic. They're lovely.
Pay no mind to the fact that the people who grow the food are also the people who live in the sewer.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Listen,
we have
a little bit of bacteria keeps you healthy. Gotta build up that gotta build up the immune system.
We have the B's favorite color combination, a red-blue guild, which they're the inventors. They make all sorts of incredible magical technology of Ravnica, run by a dragon, Niv Mizzet, who's very, very cool. And so all of the guilds hate each other, but have to work together to keep Ravnica going in this gigantic city-state. And I think that makes Ravnica an incredibly interesting city to play in. What guild are you from? That determines your color thing. Do you want to be a part of that guild? Do you want to move to a different guild? And really kind of hammers home the centerpiece of what it's like to not to play and interact with the magic color wheel in a D&D setting. And there's a whole bunch of cool new races in Ravnica as well. I've mentioned them a couple times. Gorgons are from Ravnica, I think. Simic hybrids are from Ravnica, who are very cool.
It was also the first printing of Minotaur.
First printing of Minotaur, very, very cool. Sphinxes are also on Ravnica, because
they are not playable.
They're not playable, Sag. There's also a lot of different, what we call creature types in Ravnica. There are angels, there are demons and devils, there are just anything you could possibly think of playing, you can play it in Ravnica. And so I think that's why they picked it. It is just the archetypical set to embody magic, and really the plane that embodies most of the things magic tries to do is in Ravnica.
Because I would argue the thing that this world building system does best is create conflict.
Yes.
Specifically faction conflict.
Yeah, so having 10 different factions all smushed together in one huge city, lots and lots of fun.
If that's your vibe.
Ravnica, yeah, if that's your vibe. Ravnica, if you want to pick up the book, or if you want to play around in it, I do recommend. It's a lot of fun.
Obviously, that's a little fraud at the moment, but
Yar, fiddly-dee. I wonder why that song popped into my head.
A pirate's life for me.
Also, by the way, that book's pretty old by now, so thumbs up. It's pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Yeah. So that's why Ravnica is one of the planes that already exists. The other one is Theros, and then Strixhaven. So I think we'll save Strixhaven for the end. Do you want to do Theros, B, or do you want me to take it?
Theros is the very easiest one to explain why they did Theros.
Yeah.
Theros is the Greek mythology world. It is based and rooted in the tropes and the pastiche of Greek mythology. There is one important thing, however. It is not straight up Greek mythology.
Yeah, here's the thing. I actually, I remember when that book came out, because I had a friend who played a Minotaur for a, I wouldn't call it a one-shot or a two-shot, but it was more of like a mini dungeon campaign thingy we did in between stuff. I had no idea it was MTG. I just thought it was Greek myth. That's all I knew.
Yep, but it's just different enough that they could get away with it. So what's very fun about Theros is it's Greek myth. It's everything you need to do a Greek mythology campaign without itself being Greek mythology. This one was a little bit of a cheat on their part. By doing Theros, they can hand you mechanics, vibes, and artifacts and monsters from that sort of corner of the world without needing to justify it within the Forgotten Realms. It was a very clever move. But I'm trying to think of any important things it provided. I mean, it did provide the Leonin. Yes, it did provide the Leonin and the Satyr. Satyrs are pretty important.
They're important to me, at least.
The College of Eloquence and the Oath of Glory.
College of Eloquence is extremely important to me. I play that subclass way too much.
Yeah, that came from Strixhaven. That came from Theros. And there's a very unique pantheon on Theros, which has a lot of the trappings and tropes of Greek myth without necessarily being Greek myth. So it's very cool. I like it.
Is there always the looming fear that one Zeus might try to kiss you gently?
Yes.
There's still the fear that Zeus might try to kiss you? Okay,
well,
10 setting then.
Well, okay.
Well, it's more that he'll kill your lover and then tell your lover that you were dead, and then you have to escape the afterlife through a very interesting Magic the Gathering mechanic.
Girl, that is
And no
very
one
different.
really-
Heliod is a thing. Heliod
Heliod is an asshole.
Yeah, so in the main story that he was appeared in, he was the he is the he fills in that role, you know. The thing is, Heliod is a proud and spiteful person who, upon realizing Elspeth, the person he sent on his missions, was starting to get really good at the whole fighting other members of the Pantheon thing, he went, that's concerning to me, and then team killed.
Ah, rude.
You got too good at killing the gods. I got too scaredy cat. I guess I'm killing you.
Also, Theros
Got
is a
your
great.
boobs.
Also, by the way, if you want a potentially first 3 games of God of War-esque adventure, do it in Theros. Some of them kind of deserve it. Some of them kind of deserve it.
Some of them.
We can talk about Clothis later.
Yeah.
I love how
Clothis-
opinionated y'all are. It's great.
Yeah, it's a long story, but that's Theros. It's where you go if you want to do your Greek mythology vibes. It's got everything that would typically be there, and it's just to the left enough that they won't get sued. To be honest with you, the things that were popular in Theros have probably been worked into your home games already.
Yeah. There were a few things that got popular from Theros.
I will tell you one thing, though. The one thing that they brought in that I don't think gets enough love is supernatural gifts, because they're basically lineages.
Ooh.
Like the Anvil Rot, which gives you extra resilience, the ability to have Sentry's Rest, the Warforged thing. Having a heroic destiny, like being a chosen heroic person, like your Odysseus type, has mechanical benefit.
Ooh. Forgot about that. That's cool
Being
shit.
someone's lifelong companion, being the Patroclus, has mechanical benefit.
Oh, my little
Uh,
heart. The way I've played Hades, the way hearing that now hits harder.
Yeah. Also, like, it's Greek mythology. You need the Oracle of Delphi. Oracle has mechanical benefit. And my favorite, however, is the Nyxborn. The Nyxborn are, hey, do you want to be a living star person?
Yes.
You slap the Nyxborn. It's almost a feat. They kind of work like feats. But yeah, the Nyxborn are really cool.
The way
So-
I need to play that instantly.
Yeah. I'll show you more in depth after stream.
Yes.
But go if you manage to find it through various means. Look through the supernatural gift
if
section.
you play it on official Nintendo hardware.
It's like us and our friend block. We're playing on official Nintendo hardware.
Official.
That's why we got past the censors. Yeah, no, Theros is definitely very cool. There are quite a few cool planeswalkers from there that we'll get into as well because they're gonna come up later on in the story.
Do you see? Look in the chat if you need advice. Anyway,
that brings us to the last one, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I think we should let Sleepy talk just a touch about this because it's what you're doing tomorrow.
Oh, are we talking about Strixhaven?
Yes, we're
we're
on
on
Strixhaven.
Apologies. I am.
You're good. I
You caught me
segued
just
real
as I
weird.
started typing words, or just as I
Oh,
started
I'm so
writing
sorry.
words real quick. Give me like 5 seconds so I can get the funny joke in here.
Get the funny joke.
We have info dumping, not understanding a word, and remembering this for later.
Yep.
Well, that's just accurate. Their
So,
personalities.
I will say, I will talk about the very MTG side, then I'll let you kick in with the stuff you're doing with Strixhaven.
Yes.
Strixhaven is a magic school. The things it brings in are the backgrounds, the college feats, the Owlin race, which it's a little bit of a downgrade from Satyr, I won't lie to you, but the Owlin are very cute. So
Cute.
they should just be Aarakocra, but you know, we live in these conditions.
We live, laugh, love in these conditions.
It's a very cool. Strixhaven is here to be a different way to play. It is a very different vibe, and I think all of the crossover books do that. They provide a vibe that usually can't be done in traditional settings, with maybe the exception of Eberron and Ravnica. But you know, it was Ravnica. They had to do it. But Theros and Strixhaven really do just kind of exist to provide angles you don't usually get to see, you know?
Yeah.
Which I enjoy.
Listen, if you want to go to a magic school and be a cool little wizard without having to support Miss Turfiness herself, Strixhaven!
Yeah, no. Hi, ex-Harry Potter fan here. It's not worth it. It's not worth your money. Trans lives are worth more than anything Potter related, and I will fucking die on that hill. But yes, I'm going to be running the fun magic school. I am going to be running Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos. I acquired everything before shit went down. This has actually been in the works for about a month now. But for you guys, it only seems like it's been like a few weeks, just due to us making sure that everything was like nice and baked and ready for you to go, like bread, Ethan's favorite food.
I forgot that Ethan's favorite food is just bread.
It is just bread. That's why I brought it up. We'll give him some bread while I talk. And so I have decided that in the interim, while I prepare Circus of Dreams, is due to unfortunate circumstances, as many of you know, Elementals Incarnate is on an indefinite hiatus. We do not know if it is coming back. We do not know if when, even if it is coming back. It is unfortunately laid to rest until further notice. It would be wonderful to bring it back, but there are forces beyond our control heading out over here. But what that does mean is that we want something fun to do in the interim, and that is where Strixhaven comes in. Because Strixhaven lends itself so well to one-shots and the like, I am going to be running a pseudo-open table where I have gathered a whole bunch of my friends. Some of them from previous projects, some of them just friends from the New Capenna server, as stated prior. And I am going to be running just a collection of one-shots and two-shots and just silly little things. B and Midnight are actually both going to be involved in the project. Those who were around in my last world building stream and would remember that we built B's character, the funny little French boy, who's very important to me.
He's very good.
He's very good. Tomorrow I'll actually announce my players, as I have an amazing cast, a delightful cast. I have Lucio, I have Sam, I have Tyler, I have Nick, and I have Jim. Everybody who basically left from the Kavian Cycle server and the cycle save for Jer and Jasper are going to be there, and it's going to be amazing. We're actually all going to be playing characters, well, save for me, of course, I'll be DMing, but characters that were supposed to show up in a season of Dogscast that never came to be. You guys are going to be getting it, but, and I say this kindly, but with the plot making more sense than it genuinely ever would if we got that second season.
That's true.
And I'm so excited to bring these characters to you all, because they have been near and dear to all of our hearts. To keep it a bit of a surprise, a bit of fun, a bit of whimsy, I'm not going to be telling you who these characters were. I will say, however, One of us is going to be playing a character who did appear during Dogs Cast proper, so I know there weren't a lot of you out there, but everyone who was a Dogs Cast fan, tune in and you'll see a familiar face. If you watched it, of course. But yes, the way I am putting Strixhaven into my world, because Rivenera, which is where Elementals took place, is a baby world. It is in the grand multiversal grand scheme of things, very small and very new. But Strixhaven has basically connected with it. It has these chains, I like to call them, where it binds itself to the different multiverses and allows new students looking to learn and get an education to join. All ages, races, species, shapes and sizes are welcome. And because of this, those in Rivenera are beginning to gently dip their toes into multiversal travel at large. May or may not even be inviting a particular blue tiefling who's very cool into my world lore.
I wonder who you mean.
I wonder who...
It's a flippin' mystery.
Whoever could you be referring to?
Whoever could I be referring to as I pull up her reference, because I want to doodle her now.
Amazing.
I believe now is the time to enter the top 5, actually.
Yeah, so B and I before stream talked about what would be kind of our top 5 planes that could get turned into a source book. There was some deliberation, some debate.
a lot of similarity.
A lot of similarity.
I will say very quickly, if you're looking for free things in this current thing going on in the world, well, in the very small microcosm. Anyway, did you know that before the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, they released what were called plane shift articles? These were free articles that did older settings and put them into 5e completely free. They have homebrew rules for a dogfolk called the Kenra, for a what are the other interesting things? I believe there's a pyromancer sorcerer in there somewhere.
Because, that's what we needed in 5e, more pyromancers.
It's because Chandra was popular.
I mean,
Chandra.
I know.
Chandra is the mascot of MTG, although it looks like they're transitioning her to Elspeth, which I'm very happy.
Let's see what else is there. So they did Innistrad, they did Ixalan, they did Dominaria, bunch of words that you don't understand. Look up 5e plane shift articles. They're all free. There's a ton of stuff in there, a ton of monsters in there. So if you want new things and don't want to spend a cent, smiley face. They're also hidden away in the secret annals of a place that I may or may not have vagued at.
But it doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah, no. I have no idea what we're talking about even. Anyway, on to the top 5.
My wine was wiped. No, nothing.
So, do we want to do ascending order? Because I know my number 1, and I will fight on my number 1.
We will do ascending order, but I am going to get in my fucking honorable mention, because I think it's cool.
Okay.
Smiles.
See, okay, so I should be clear. I do like this one. The only reason I didn't put it in the top 5 is because it is so...
niche.
It's not even niche. It's so not favored. And by which I mean not in the italics.
Maybe. I still like it.
No, you're valid.
Cool. I'm forgetting the name of the plane, which is probably pretty bad. Oh, I remembered. Anyway, okay, let's go from the top. So, what was your what's the 5th, B? I can't remember what order we had it in.
I thought you were doing honorable mentions.
Honorable mention first.
Oh, honorable mentions first? Okay. So, honorable mentions usually go before it's the first one, but okay. Zendikar. Zendikar is a really, really fucking cool plane. It is a wild jungle, which just has all these sort of different creatures and stuff like that, and some really, really inventive creature designs. It also has a lot of intrigue and a lot of mystery. If you want to run a dungeon crawl, may I suggest the Skyclaves. These Skyclaves on Zendikar were left there by the people who once lived there but now are no longer, and they're these ruins, but they're not ruins in the ground. As the name suggests, they are floating above in the sky. Just these huge floating islands of these tetrahedral stone, as pretty much everything built by these people was in some sort of octahedral, tetrahedral form. And they're so cool to explore this once dead city that is now flying in the air. There are a lot of ghosts and creepy crawlies that can come at you. There's all sorts of different creatures on the ground. And it's just some very, very cool. And the really cool thing about Zendikar is its connection to wild magic. Zendikar is the plane of wild magic. The world soul, which I will explain in 10 seconds, that is the soul of the plane. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory, but it is kind of the heart of the plane itself, of the planet. Is very unstable in Zendikar, and it sends off these wild jolts of magic, and that just do these crazy things. Magic is so unstable there that the actual mechanic in MTG is called landfall. So whenever you play a land, something funky happens because something new is happening with the magic. Also, Zendikar kind of fought off Cthulhu, and they won. So that makes them really cool.
That is really cool.
And I think it would make a great source book. But
you know who else did?
Who else?
Luxie.
Well,
it's one of the plagiaristic articles.
It's one of the plagiaristic articles.
Which is why it's an honorable mention.
Yes. But I love Zendikar, so it's very cool. You can play as a new... Well, did they make the core? They probably didn't make the core.
They did. The core is one of the races. Cool. I know because I played one. One of the races? Yes.
Yes, they're very cool. They're the native people in Zendikar. They're very cool. There's also a lot of slime people, and there's a lot of just all sorts of different weird shit you can do. That's one of my favorites. I've never played Wild Magic a lot, but if I was to play Wild Magic, I would play it on Zendikar.
I mean, I certainly do like Wild Magic.
Zendikar is the world where wild magic hits everybody.
Yeah.
And it's a world recovering from a major disaster, and you are part of that recovery process by being an adventurer in Zendikar.
Yeah, they had a calamity. Emrakul, that's Cthulhu, nearly killed everything. But no, we stopped Cthulhu bitch. She did not consume it all.
Yep.
She did not wipe it all out.
That's
there was
correct.
No mass destruction.
Well, there was, but
I'm making a bunch of Persona references. I couldn't remember what the main theme of Persona 5 was. I only know 3 and 4.
But I think 5 is either... I think 5 has 2 really big ones. It's wake up, get out there, and life will change.
And I couldn't fit that in.
The way I love Persona 5 and need to finish it. I was supposed to do that with Kara a while ago, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
But yes, I will give my honorable mention then. Well, it's kind of number 5 because it's number 5 and an honorable mention. It's number 5 because it has something that traditional D&D does not. I think Zendikar is a way to flavor traditional D&D in a really fun way. This is a very different vibe entirely, which gave it just a little more points in my eyes, but it does have a plane shift article, which kept it from being any higher. And that's Amonkhet. Amonkhet is where you get the Kenra, because they are very specifically Anubis dog folk.
Amonkhet, if you couldn't tell from the name, and that's why we just said Anubis, is the Egypt plane.
No, sorry, you said that. I'm just like, oh, so somebody already did the Kavian Jackals, but better. That.
Yeah, no, it quite literally. The Kenra are part of Amonkhet, and there is actual mechanics for it in the Planeshift article. Amonkhet is a world that has one storyline, and that's the tragedy of Amonkhet, is that there is one storyline. Because
They
the moment you
kinda-
start playing in Amonkhet, you know how the story ends. I will let you go off Midnight because I need to grab something.
Okay. So in the story of Amonkhet, it is the plane of Amonkhet is the plane where Nicol Bolas won. And if you don't know who Nicol Bolas is, thank you. Good for you. Also, I'm sorry. Nicol Bolas is one of the main antagonists of MTG. He is the worst. He is the worst dragon to ever exist. He is just awful. He literally, I think, just wants to destroy everything just cuz. His whole plan is that he's going to trap all the planeswalkers on Ravnica and kill them all. He's eh. He's kind of awful. And on Amonkhet, all of his plans come to fruition and he wins. He starts by integrating himself into their culture. He labels himself the God Pharaoh because of course he does. And basically he shapes their whole culture around becoming his perfect soldiers. And then at the crux of it, he kills them all to turn them into undead, immortal soldiers that he can use to murder all planeswalkers.
So, it sounds
all the gods
like Sombra
of
My Little Pony.
It really
guess.
does, and that's the unfortunate thing.
I'm so glad you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. I was
I
like,
know.
I'm gonna say this, and if I need at least one person to know what I'm talking about.
So Nicol
He's a
Bolas.
bisexual icon, by the way. That's important for me to bring up. Sombra's a bi
Nicol
icon.
Bolas is no, he's not an icon of anything.
Not
He's not
Nicol
even an icon of
Bolas,
sin. I don't
Sombra.
even give him boom status.
Sombra, My Little Pony.
I'm thinking Sombra Overwatch.
No, I said My Little Pony. You've been longing you a little bit, Vega.
Yeah.
Vega, why are you so long?
Long. No, but Amonkhet is a tragedy. They have been fooled by Bolas completely. All in one gigantic day of slaughter, Nicol Bolas kills all of them, the gods, everything, and turns them all into his evil undead zombie army to kill the rest of the multiverse with. Actually, his plan is to call all planeswalkers to Ravnica. He's then going to activate an artifact called the Immortal Sun, which traps them all in Ravnica, and then he's going to just slaughter them all. It does not work. Nicol Bolas loses in the end. Don't ask us why. Actually, it's really funny why. Why?
Don't worry.
Because he can't
No,
control. You got it, or shall I?
No, you know, please.
Okay. So he's not a necromancer, Nicol Bolas. He needs a necromancer to control his undead army. So he gets Liliana Vess. Wink, wink. Might come up in Strixhaven. Wink, wonk. Liliana Vess eventually gets tired because Nicol Bolas is kind of a fucking asshole. And does not want to serve him and does not want to watch millions upon millions upon billions of people who are all in Ravnica and all the planeswalkers die. And so goes, I am controlling an army of zombies designed to kill planeswalkers. Nicol Bolas is a planeswalker and does not have direct control of his army. I do. She betrays him and uses the zombies to kill him. It's very cool. It's a very girl boss moment.
We love Vega.
That might be the one clever thing in War of the Spark. It might be the one clever plot twist.
They can stand next to each other.
Yes.
Um,
I will throw one thing out there about this as well. Amonkhet is a very survival story. It is, a story where you and your skills mean the difference between life and death, which is really fun to play if you're in the mood. Also, on top of the Kenra, Amonkhet also provides a unique form of Minotaur, which have goat heads. instead of bull. And a different kind of snake folk called the Naga, who instead of being the like Yuan Ti, they are straight up just snakes with arms, and they're people sized.
Amonkhet takes a lot of inspiration from Egypt. A lot.
Yeah,
It certainly is not Egypt, but it is certainly very cool, even with the addition of Nicol as God Pharaoh.
and
Asshole extraordinaire.
I'll also throw out there, if you're interested in yet more cleric subclasses, there are bonus ones in the Amonkhet Plane Shift article, which is completely free.
Ooh woo, maybe I want more clerics.
There's the Solidarity domain. No. There's the Solidarity domain, the Strength domain, the Ambition domain, and the Zeal domain.
Murdered. Absolutely killed live on stream. Oh my god.
I'm kidding, of course.
I'm kidding. I play paladins anyway. Oh.
Got me there. Okay. Number four.
Ethan being gay? To draw Ethan being gay would be a spoiler. Unfortunately, I cannot actually. I'm not gonna say a spoiler for what, but it's a spoiler for something.
I will say number 4 in our top 5, moving away from the ones that have plane shift articles into completely new territory. Midnight, which one do you feel is number 4 worthy, knowing our remaining 4 are the one I'm going to pitch to be number 1, the self-indulgence one, the one that shouldn't be in D&D, and the one that's only going to be popular because of a video game.
Let's do the one that's only going to be popular because of a video game, because we're kind of on a theme here, and if I don't get to go off about Kaya in another 2 seconds, I am going to explode.
Okay. Number 4 then is the world of Kaldheim.
Kaldheim.
You wanted to go off about Kaya. Go.
She's not even from Kaldheim. I'm not going off about her, but she's one of the main people there. Anyway, Kaldheim is not Norse mythology magic plane, which is a reference to a certain video game that may have come out recently. I don't know what you mean. I've never Ragnaroked in my life. Anyway,
here it's called Doomskars. Get it right.
Here it is called Doomskar, the bane of my goddamn existence. I hate board wipes. Anyway, Kaldheim is a very they do a lot of interesting things with the Norse mythology. It definitely different.
It definitely takes more liberties than Thera.
Oh, absolutely, a lot more liberties. A main creature type. So a lot of the beings on Kaldheim are angels, which aren't usually a thing. In Norse mythology, but we love the angels. They're great.
They're going to be the Valkyries.
Yes, Kaya gets to run around and be cool.
The creature type is angel. All the titles are Valkyrie. So
yeah, all the titles are Valkyries. They also, I really did like how they did with the gods.
Yes.
They have a bunch of different gods in Kaldheim that are all like the god of stories, the god of light, the god of just all sorts of different gods that all interact with the planes. None of the gods are planeswalkers, but they all interact with there's really only Kaya in the set, right? There's Kaya, Tybalt, who doesn't count.
Tyvar
is there. Yay, Tyvar. He's a himbo. But
I like himbos.
Yes. I'll tell you the
Great.
creature types of Kaldheim. You have dwarves, because of course you do. Humans, your opportunity for your fiends, and there would be your tieflings. Valkyries allow you to have your Aasimar. Giants allow you to have your spirits let you do your reborns. The Draugr also let you do your reborns. Trolls, elves, and changelings. Shapeshifters, as they're called on Kaldheim, have a very unique aesthetic that only really exists on Kaldheim.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could show you art of them, but they're really neat. Just look up Kaldheim Shapeshifter. You'll be delighted by what you find. But Kaldheim does have a world tree, despite the fact that MTG is tied to multiverse hopping. Kaldheim does have realms in the one plane of Kaldheim, making Kaldheim arguably one of the biggest planes in Magic.
Yeah. It's huge for the storyline.
Mm-hmm. Also, another important thing, the Kaldheim Pantheon are not indestructible. Most of the MTG Pantheons have indestructible. These ones do not. That's because they drink a sap from the World Tree in order to retain their power, and if they should ever go too long without it, they would revert back to regular people.
Ooh, that's actually really neat.
Yeah. But even if they do become regular people, their power is stored in their signature artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
So
Thor's hammer equivalent.
yes. So the card for a Kaldheim Pantheon member is you can choose when they enter what they are. Are they the person or are they their weapon? And you can attach their weapon to another character, kind of doing the continuing the legacy storyline.
Ooh, that's neat. That's really neat.
Yeah, there is a Lich King, there is a and they're not all weapons, I should be clear. One of
the
them,
one for the god of stories is a horn, it's like a blowing horn.
Yep. One of them's a boat.
Mm-hmm. There's a boat.
The Omen Keel. For Cosima, god of the voyage. So yeah, it's really cool. Kaldheim is a very active world. It is a world where you are probably constantly on the move and adventuring.
Mm-hmm.
And it
it's
is
very cold.
Yes, it'd be a very fun world to retweak Rima the Frost Maiden potentially. But also not a lot of Arctic stuff goes on in traditional 5e. So if you want a very different feel of a world, I would suggest Kaldheim.
Absolutely.
It touches on enough pop culture and pop culture of a mythology that you can very easily get your players to understand what's going on and appreciate the lore shifts, while also being its own thing enough that you can tell your own story. And because of that, Kaldheim has also only had one set, meaning there's a lot of stuff that was set up that they just never got the chance to elaborate on.
Yeah.
Meaning there's a lot of room for you as a DM to play.
Absolutely. Kaldheim also has incredibly beautiful card art. We can't show it on stream just because for a couple of different reasons. But it has especially some of the art for the world tree, art for some of the grand sweeping landscapes, art for some of the people there. It is an incredibly beautiful set that you will have no shortage of artwork to wow your players with.
Yeah. Also, yes, there is a world serpent, and yes, they're an asshole on the cards. Fucking
amazing.
Coma.
Oh wait, that's Coma. You have beaten me with Coma.
Coma is Kaldheim's world serpent. Yep.
Bruh, he says this to me after beating my ass with that goddamn card.
Yes.
I don't know what the
Blue-green is an unholy color combination. Yeah, Cobra's the world serpent! Someone else didn't know! Yay!
No, I knew what it was. The world serpent, but look.
No, someone in chat. Jenny.
Look. There he is. He's so mad.
You drawed him. You draw the sneaky boy that just makes more of himself. Jormungandr would never.
Oh, he makes more of himself?
He does.
Ta-da!
He does.
That's really stupid.
The way I'll tell you how he works. Coma basically says every turn it creates a baby 3/3 snake. And then you can then use the baby 3/3 snakes to either tap down a creature, like as in the baby serpent like wraps itself around someone and makes them unable to fight, or the baby serpent gives Coma indestructible, meaning it like takes the blow for Coma, or it's just a 3/3 body. So like Coma's mean, and it just kind of does that on its own. So very, very powerful card.
You just play it and it wins for you. You don't even have to fucking do anything.
Smiles. Anyway,
He comes into my house.
anyway. I like blue-red more than green-blue, but I did experiment.
Green-blue, to be fair, I also have a green-blue deck that's just me being fucking mean.
Nods. Anyway, though, we should probably move on from Call Time, but needless to say, look into Call Time if you want to do something a little Norse-themed for your next adventure, and you don't really want to take and break the world lore yourself. I can assure you, MTG took and broke it in a way that's pretty conducive to a D&D set.
Yeah. Also, if you were itching to play through God of Ragnarok, but in D&D.
These ones might deserve it less.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because less went down in Ragnarok anyway. So, number 3. Do we do Self-Indulgence, the one I'm going to fight to be number 1, or the one that should not be in D&D?
I need you to DM me which ones those are.
Okay.
We're gonna do what you think should be number 1 as number 1, so that's already not in contention, but let's do. We have to do the third one last, so let's do number 2, the first new.
Okay, go for it. I will let you
Okay.
start, because I think if I don't, you and Sleepy will both cry.
Yes. So the next one we're going to talk about is, well, it's very fitting since we are in a server currently called the Streets of New Capenna. Turns out New Capenna is an MTG setting!
These motherfuckers. I like how I say that, and I'm like, someone give me OCs to draw. Immediately Loyal and Michael go Sylvia and Dorada.
Drop them! Drop them!
Wait, Sleepy, I just had an idea.
What?
We currently have the good Unova vibe music, right?
Yeah.
Would you be interested in a potential switch up?
I can. You want me to swap to the New Capenna soundtrack, don't you?
I do.
I can swap to the New Capenna soundtrack because this is the one I know.
I can't hear the soundtrack, which is very sad, but that's okay.
I think I'd have to. Oh, it's because I'm streaming the Let's View, but either way, I'm gonna play. I want to listen to the funny jazz music, and you'll have the link so you can listen to the funny jazz music.
I'll put the link in here so that way you get the instrumentals, so you
wait,
don't
you're
have
so right. Because I'll have the call volume. All right, guys, it's
Yeah.
gonna be silent for a minute. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Here's the link to all the instrumentals, so that way you don't have to worry about.
But you can just play it in Calby.
Oh, good point.
That's what I was saying when you. That's what I thought you were gonna
Oh, no. I thought I was just gonna give you the instrumental link instead of the.
do. No, the.
Bless you.
Okay, here we go.
Takes a slow drag from a cigarette. This city, it'll eat you up inside. Blood runs thick, but the money runs thicker. Thank you, Danny. I don't know what voice that was, but it's funny.
Oh my god. So, New Capenna is a new MTG setting. We just went to New Capenna recently in 2022.
It is the most recent new setting.
And it is fantastic. It has a 1920s vibe. And it's all about these, like similar to Ravnica, except it has a bunch of factions. However, the factions in New Capenna care about tricolors. So there are only 5 of them. There are the Brokers, the Maestros, the Obscura, the Cabaretti, and the Riveteers. So there are only 5 factions. So if you kind of liked the idea of Ravnica but thought 10 guilds was too fucking much, absolutely, you can have some crime families if you would like. New Capenna is broker. Yeah, oh yes, and Maeve is a broker. My character tosses my hair over my shoulder. New Capenna is good because it has some excellent, beautiful 1920s mixed with high fantasy aesthetic. It is so cool. It's one of the more unique worlds Magic has done, and I really appreciate its art style. It has a lot of cool conflict. You could be running around, as a family member, as an unaligned, just trying to make your way in the world. It has a lot of cool twists. You'll notice that my character, Maeve, has horns. She's not a tiefling. She is actually an Eladrin. Because elves, and by extension Eladrin, because I kind of fudged that, have horns on New Capenna. There's also a new race called the Cephalids, which are octopus boys. They're very cool.
Are you a squid or a kid?
You're a squid kid.
We got a lot of riveteers in the chat.
Riveteers are okay, but I'm still a broker gal. I play Obscura, but I like the brokers. I play Obscura though. Yeah. I see. You said you were red black there, Jenny. You have valid opinions. I just prefer some white in my life. Don't read too far into that. Don't think about that too hard. Don't think about that too hard.
It's that you want to think about it harder, actually. You want to think about it harder than what you think initially. You want to go beyond the initial assumption.
I just heard Danielle already feuded. Please continue. I'm sorry.
New Capenna offers some cool new twists on old things, especially if you wanted to do that sort of you didn't want to do modern in D&D because there's a lot of stuff that does that, but you wanted to do some cool 1920s bits. New Capenna is a really great setting for that. You got anything to say about it, B? Because I know you love New Capenna too.
Yes. I should explain to you what the families are and what they do, so that way for people who have no clue.
Oh, go right ahead, please.
So, the 5 crime families of New Capenna make up the world. New Capenna is similar to Ravnica in that there is the city of New Capenna, but unlike Ravnica, there is a world outside of the city. It's just kind of a wasteland. There was a war in the far ancient past that caused all of society to live in one space, and took a world deep in the thralls of high fantasy into the 1920s, as they needed to industrialize to survive. And as they did so, 5 families joined up and became the holdouts of power. Also worth noting, tieflings thrive in this setting. New Capenna is almost entirely derived of fiends. So, the 5 families. There are the brokers, who are lawyers. They're a firm that believe in a doomsday prophecy when a magical essence called Halo. They believe that will cause the city to fall. They maintain public law offices where they handle mundane legal matters, property disputes, and physical grievances. But their aggressive solicitors have a dubious reputation for being everywhere and showing up at every crisis at the city. Almost as if they already knew they were going to happen.
You ever want to trap someone in a contract that they could never ever escape from, and they're kind of just owe you your soul now? Smiles.
Moving on, there are the Cabaretti. They're the party monsters. They're a fun-loving group of druids that throw the hottest parties in town. They're the glitter and glam of the city, and everyone wants to be invited to their feasts and dance halls. They use an old magic to sway the opinion of the masses and keep the halo flowing. The party never ends if you keep paying, but the moment you stop, you may find it hard to leave. The Cabaretti are very close, and it doesn't take a lot for you to become family, but it does take a lot for you to get out. Then there are the maestros, elite assassins, old money vampires who love the finer things in life and are willing to kill to get them. They maintain a public front that acts as an upstanding public organization of art aficionados, with a goal to preserve the art and culture of the old way. Beneath the polished veneer, they're a shadow organization that focus on maintaining power, influence, and wealth.
Actually, I wanted
So
to
you
say
wanna
to Jenny's point, I'm reading through the chat, I'm pretty sure the city is actually floating in air and will fall like the school from Sky High.
Yes,
It is. It is being supported in the air by basically there was a bunch of angels on the plane of New Capenna, but they kind of died and sacrificed themselves to save it, and they lifted a city up into the air. And so in order to save the city. So the city of New Capenna is floating above the plane of Capenna.
Apologies
Yes.
for the interruption. It just felt topical.
it did.
No, I mean it was very good. It's a very good question. Thank you, Jenny.
Playing the cabaretti is an experience if you want to play a very talkative bard, a very cunning druid, or clever warlock. And the maestros are what you want to play if you want to feel like a mastermind.
Absolutely. Rumor is a
Yes. Rumor was in the maestros the moment that the maestros were red, blue, black. I'm not joking.
Well, I mean, red, blue, black is like almost your dream trio. I don't know. You
No, it
could.
is. I
It
could
is,
do
yeah.
red, blue, green, but red, blue, black is my home.
Absolutely.
Then, moving on to the Obscura. The Obscura are talented wizards who use their power to deceive and blackmail. They use distraction, illusion, and hidden mechanisms to orchestrate scenario and manipulate outcomes. They endeavor to maintain a facade of normalcy in their everyday life and allow them to run their schemes without disruption. The Obscura work best if you don't know that the Obscura are tampering with your fate. But because they can see the future, they know what's going on in the city before it even happens, which makes them a very powerful force to deal with.
Yeah. The Obscura are great.
I believe
Sylvia,
it's
who Sleepy is drawing,
Yeah, I
is
was
an
gonna say
Obscura
Sylvia
elf.
right here. She's really
Mhm.
pretty. I love her. Hi. Fun fact: I am obsessed with Sylvia and Maeve. One might even call me a simp. I can call myself on stream. It's my channel.
Listen.
I simp for Rumor too. It's just these two are
Everyone
the
simps
fuckers
for
that
Rumor.
dragged me in.
A little cat face from Loyal in there. I see you, Loyal.
Hey, I gotta say though, ain't nobody who doesn't simp for Willow.
That's true.
True.
She's really hot, and I designed her that way.
Hey. Hey.
If you want a quick visual aid, this person on Reddit made a loving graphic that explains the crime families. But
Are we
finally,
missing one? No,
yes,
we're not.
yes,
we
we
are
are.
missing one. The
The
Riveteers,
Riveteers.
of course.
The Riveteers are the distraction workers, tough as nails artisans who can break buildings as easily as kneecaps. They're a rowdy brute force crime faction. Their skills in industry and construction also makes them pros in demolition and intimidation. Skilled artisans, they transform the lower levels into the city into a lair worthy of their draconic leader, Ziatora.
Very cool. I do love Ziatora, Jenny. Very, very cool.
I should say the families all have their leaders. Falco Spara, basically an Aarakocra.
Mm-hmm.
We noted all of the crime bosses are half tiefling, half something else for the most part. And I'm using tiefling for the D&D minded. So Falco Spara is an Aarakocra in all ways, except at the top of their head is tiefling horns.
Yes. To be fair,
Um,
Falco Sparrow's design is very cool.
Yes. Jetmir is a tabaxi tiefling for the D&D minded. He is a very boisterous catfolk who has horns.
He's a round man.
I
This
love him.
man is big. He's a big boy.
I do
Love
like
him.
a boy.
The maestros are led by the vampire tiefling Lord Xander. That one might be one of the less visually fascinating, but you know.
Mhm.
we live in these conditions. The Obscura are led by the Sphinx, Rafine. And finally, the Riveteers are led by the Dragon Zeator.
It's very cool.
New Capenna is great if you want the slimy criminal underworld vibes, and you still want high fantasy at the core of it.
Yes. Zeatora. Okay, night, Lila. So New Capenna is great because there's the high politics of all the families interacting with each other. There's the grab for the drug halo, which is the unique resources left over from the angels when they sacrifice themselves for the plane. And there's just a whole bunch of cool stuff you can do into with that. There are a lot of cool items in the New Capenna cards you could use and stuff like that. There's a lot of good jokes. There's like, there's a card literally I think called Sleep with the Fishes. Like it's a fun set.
We'll also say there are many homebrew guides to mechanics in New Capenna already out there. So if you want to run in this world, which I do and I will be soon, I just need to wait for my friend who gives me the books to get keys from the Golden Vault in a couple months, and then we will be running some heists in the streets of New Capenna.
The way I need to play her, the way I need her to be real, the way I'm obsessed with her.
It's very good. Yeah, no, it's good. New Capenna is uniquely suited for some cool heists or some daring raids or stuff like that. It leans very much into the angel fiend aesthetic, so if that's something you're really into or things really hot and sexy, you can definitely run around with that. Has a lot of cool music. We're listening to it too, so you don't even have to go searching for music to play in the background for your D&D games.
Out there, in my files, floating around is half of a cover of a New Capenna song.
Yeah. My friend made a cover of this one that's playing right now.
Actually, I want to say, New Capenna has actually an important space in B&I's friendship. The first time we ever spoke, our first DMs is you contacting me about recording Join Us.
That's correct.
And
we wanted to do a whole cover of the whole OST, but plans fell through and such. But
yeah,
it's still very neat.
One day that cover is going to come out. I just need to find a new cover partner because the original person I was supposed to do it with fell through, unfortunately.
It's how it is.
It's how it is.
But yeah, New Capenna is really fun. It's one of those worlds that, like Kaldheim, has only had one full excursion. Meaning there's a lot of space to play. While that is negative for the story of the set itself, for DMs looking to have a whole new world to run playground, New Capenna, you can't do much better, to be real with you.
Or an entire server full of TTRPG nerds.
Yeah.
So, Midnight, do you want to tell the people on stream number 2? We'll keep the music going.
I just need to do something real quick.
Let's keep talking about New Capenna.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm trying to think of other things. Our friends have thought out a lot of stuff for the setting. So if you do end up at my table while we're doing some heists in the city, a lot of stuff that doesn't get thought out by the main set has been thought out by my friends who have desperately wanted to make this world work.
Shout out to Xander, who made one of the coolest parts of it. Oh, hi, Michael. Welcome to chat.
Yes. Hello, Michael.
Hi.
I
was gonna. Do we
want to talk about
Club Kaleido?
Let's talk about the Kaleido. Yep.
Yeah. Made by Xander of Crit Failsafe fame, Club Kaleido is basically a big neutral ground where all of the families can go to drink and have a raucous good time amongst friends. My character Willow actually works at Club Kaleido. She is a night singer. I bet you're wondering what she is. Specifically, she is a Fire Genasi Dampier lineage, so she's kind of like a burnt-out candle who feeds on negative emotions, so she's a blues singer. She sings the blues for others and feeds off their sadness, and she's very important to me.
It's a really cool concept.
Very cool. Okay, also I am back. The next plane is well,
a lot less fun, unfortunately.
a lot less fun. We're doing, you want the one that has 1 to be number 1, correct?
Yes, because I think we
Okay.
could both agree it's probably the best fit.
It is the best fit just because it's so cool. I do love it. So that means we are finally talking about the part that got Sleepy into this whole MTG mess. We are finally talking about New Phyrexia.
New Phyrexia! New Phyrexia! New Phyrexia! I'm very excited.
Now, the Phyrexians are the new bad guy of MTG.
The new old bad guy.
The new old bad guy. They were the OG bad guy before Nico Bolas, the jerk himself, came onto the scene. His holy jerkliness. Anyway, the Phyrexians can be described as the MTG's take on the Borg from Star Trek, or the Cybermen from Doctor Who, with a little bit more individuality. In effect, they are a race of machines. They have corrupted the plane that they are on currently, which was named Mirrodin, now named New Phyrexia, with their oil. Their oil corrupts you. If you get exposed to the oil of New Phyrexia, it turns you into a Phyrexian, into an unfeeling robot who believes that inorganics are perfect and organics are not. They are the new danger of MTG, as their only dream is to conquer the entire multiverse and to turn it into one glorious machine, an image out of the very dreams of the mother of machines, Elish Norn herself, the leader of New Phyrexia, who is drop dead gorgeous, despite being the fact that she is completely, utterly A, bonkers, and B, murderous.
I support women's wrongs.
Interestingly, all of the Phyrexians have kind of 5 leaders, all for each of the different colors of magic. There is Jin Gataxius, the blue Praetor. He is the one who finally figured out how to corrupt planeswalkers. Originally, planeswalkers could not be completed. That's with an EA, because it's a different word. Planeswalkers could not be completed, but Jin Gataxius figured out a way to do that and killed a very beloved planeswalker who we'll talk more in detail about in the last one. Rip Tamio. We have the green Praetor. We have oh my god, Vorinclex, who went to Kaldheim and stole the seed of the world tree. He believes that he is the greatest predator, and that the only way that you can be strong in this universe is that if you are on top. That the universe should all just be about the strong hunting the weak down and eating it.
Yum,
He's
yum, yum, yum.
awful.
Crunchy.
We have the black Praetor, Sheoldred, which is a huge centipede-like woman. I don't know a lot about her politics. I don't know a lot about what she does, but she has a lot of the armies of New Phyrexia. She has a lot of the creeping, crawling things. She has the acid pools where you are incinerated.
I could talk about her a bit.
Oh, go right ahead, please.
Sheoldred is one of 7 leaders of the black aligned area of New Phyrexia, the Dross Pits. She, however, rose to number 1 of them by sheer strength of will. Sheoldred is potentially one of the biggest pushers back against Elish Norn's soul reign, because in Sheoldred's eyes, she should be on top.
Makes sense, considering that Sheoldred is black and Elish Norn is white. Or
Yes.
the color
Aligned.
wheel. Aligned.
We know what you meant, sweetheart. Don't worry.
We are at MTG talk territory. We are talking about the color wheel.
Yes.
Shieldred, however, also has a very fun theming about her, where she is pretty constantly looking for ways to show her superiority. She's got a little star screaming, just a little. So don't challenge Shieldred if you can't put up. Which leaves us, I believe, with
Red. I was gonna let you do Urabrask because he's your boy.
Urabrask is a fascinating case. Urabrask is the red-aligned praetor of New Phyrexia who runs what's called the Quiet Furnace. Urabrask is red-aligned, the color of emotion, of passion, of zeal. So how does that work? How does that work in a world like New Phyrexia that cares about all becoming one? The answer is Urabrask is a defector. Despite being one of the 5 most powerful praetors of New Phyrexia, Urabrask is secretly plotting a coup against their other 4 leaders. Because he believes in a more individualistic approach. Now, he doesn't think that organic life should stay, but he does believe that when they're completed, they should be a little less single-minded. Urabrask winning is unfortunately still a loss for the multiverse. But in the fight against New Phyrexia, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Okay.
Which leads us to Elish Norn, who I believe you've already talked about. But
I've talked about her, yeah.
The one final important thing to know about Elish Norn is that she kind of leads all 4, kind of views herself as the top, you know? The world of New Phyrexia was once a plane called Mirrodin, a world made by a planeswalker named Karn. Mirrodin was, however, infected by just a touch of Phyrexian oil from the ancient past, creating these 5 praetors, unleashing this new generation of Phyrexian horror. And now, in the current MTG story, we are gearing up for the release of Phyrexia All Will Be One, a horror set where a group of planeswalkers descend through the levels of New Phyrexia, desperate to stop Elish Norn's new plan to complete the entire multiverse. And like any good horror movie, people drop like flies.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
It's never
Characters
something I
we
get to talk about it much, but God, does Sleepy love horror. I love horror so much.
And it's very fun. You should go.
Oh, it's incredibly fun. New Phyrexia is fantastic as a horror setting because not only are there 5 levels you have to get through to get to the base of New Phyrexia. More than 5. There's a lot. There's one for each of the praetors, and there's a couple more. It's no one is safe. Anyone can get got. Even a scratch can infect you. Which combines the horror of zombie horror with the fact that you are losing your friends and family. You are losing people you care about, and they become these unfeeling, horrific versions of themselves. The Phyrexians are unique in that, unlike the Cybermen and the Borg, they don't turn all of their members into the things that look the same. No, all the Phyrexians look different. They just are twisted versions of yourself. Completed planeswalkers are like have basically had their spark turned inside out. They have become the worst aspects of themselves.
I'm actually
which is really
do
cool.
A completed version of one of my OCs. A lot of you are probably aware of Effie. I came up with a design for her that I'm in love with, so I'm just gonna draw it.
Yes.
Now, the Phyrexians, I will give a hard warning here, have a lot of body horror.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of machines mixing with organic, and it's very, very gross. There's a reason they had Junji Ito the master of drawing body horror himself, draw Elish Nord for this set.
Don't worry though, guys.
is-
I'm just gonna draw a little chibi version of the body horror, so it's less scary.
Yeah, but if you were itching for a horror setting, something that's not necessarily grim dark, but that it's just kind of just beautiful in its terribleness, or if you're looking for like a kind of like a doomsday one shot, absolutely, New Phyrexia would work very well for this. And the
In
Phyrexians
fact-
themselves are fantastic.
There's no shortage of good art. I will also throw out there is the Resistance, the small surviving people of the world of Mirrodin who are fighting to take back their home. So if you want the feel of your characters being part of a small resistance who are desperately fighting back against an overwhelming force, having your characters join the Mirrodin Resistance is a very good way to do that. But that leads me to a very fun point. That could be done in D&D. But New Phyrexia is very specifically one of those worlds that I think really lends itself to horror RPGs. And with the theme of descending down the levels of Phyrexia,
Oh, I know the song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would genuinely suggest, if you've heard of the TTRPG Trophy Dark, that is what I would run a New Phyrexia in. A group of doomed Mirrodin resistors slowly going down the level of once Mirrodin, now New Phyrexia, desperately trying to stop some plan deep down below. It writes itself. It really does. I'm very in love with New Phyrexia. I'm enjoying the storyline so much right now.
The story articles have been fantastic. The art has been mind-blowing. It's been very cool.
I lucked out in that I got to join a call where B was reading one of them. I was enamored.
It's really
Yeah, you missed. Oh, you missed the one I read. That's sad.
Well, maybe
That was a fun one.
bedtime story. Ooh, ooh.
Maybe it's a long one. So anything else to say about New Phyrexia? Anything you wanted to say, B?
I'm going to write the Trophy Dark adventure. That's just gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, you should go off.
I think we should let Join Us play out because the number one pick for me does have its own music. So
It does.
let's take a moment before we hit number one to very quickly kind of recap the 5 we've tossed your way, so that we Join Us can play out. We talked
Absolutely.
about putting a spin on traditional D&D by running it in Zendikar, which has a plane shift article, a survival horror adventure in the deserts of Amonkhet, running something a little Norse themed in Kaldheim, dealing with New Capenna and everything New Capenna brings.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about horror in New Phyrexia. And now we are hitting number one. Also, with New Phyrexia, run it in Trophy Dark. Run New Phyrexia in Trophy Dark.
Absolutely. It's not like Michael has a character from Kaldheim in the chat.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Let's
Kaldheim's
go,
also a
Michael.
great place to make
Let's go,
interesting
Michael.
ASMR.
Speaking of that, this is Dorada. Dorada's Michael's OC. I love
Yes.
Dorada.
No, that's
He's a
Effie.
Riveteer. I moved
Oh.
to Dorada. You big
I am watching the
disappointments.
time delayed stream. Don't fucking worry about it.
I'm streaming my screen.
Yeah, but I want to read the chat. I want to interact with our viewers.
I love
Slinky GB.
you.
So, I did change the music for number one. And if you know where this is from, then you already know what we're going to be talking about. For number one for me, I wanted to pick something that just has not been seen before, something that no other setting could really duplicate, and that while possible to run in another system, which is another very nice thing about these MTG sets, still can have a home in D&D, provide a lot of interesting homebrew. So it had to be Kamigawa.
1 second, I have to deal with a cat. Entertain the chat.
No worries. Kamigawa, the very, very, very cool magic leader. Yes, Kitty! Kitty! I am reading chat, Michael. Don't be dumb. It'd be very, very cool.
So
Yeah, rat ninjas!
I'm back.
Ratjas!
yes. So, first of all, Kamigawa is, at least in the current version of it, Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, takes some of the aesthetic of cyberpunk. Kamigawa is a setting very based in Japanese culture and folklore. Then adds a bit of cyberpunk aesthetic, high fantasy, and city faction-based storytelling, and creates a very unique vibe, really.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that a lot of people would love to have that Kamigawa would provide. So,
Cool.
first of all, if I were to make this a book, the first thing you would ask, well, what about player stuff? First of all, Kamigawa is a place for artificers to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because there are actual card arts for rules for running mechas, but also because everything in Kamigawa now has this strange mix of technology and magic, or technology and nature, or nature and magic. It's these three interplays that make up the city and the world. So artificers would thrive in Kamigawa, which is a class that desperately needs places to thrive.
Mhm.
Your druids have an interesting storyline to go off of and probably get their own sub tier, dealing with the urbanization of the world around them while also holding to their roots. You could probably get a fucking like disc jockey bard. Fighters have worlds of things they could play with.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you want to go with gun.
You want to go with gun? If you want to go with samurai, you're on Kamigawa.
Well, I know
Oh,
the
yeah.
technology, and a lot of settings can do real fussies with gun, so
Yeah.
sometimes you
Magic
gotta
is-
hop on it when you can.
Yeah, magic art doesn't necessarily show gunplay for obvious reasons, but it's probably there. You also get laser swords. Just because laser swords.
Laser swords are very cool.
I'm a staunch
Um,
believer. Listen, I know some people like to say, "Oh, my world doesn't have guns. My world doesn't have guns." If you have laser sword, your world has guns. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. But yes, there's a rogue subclass waiting to happen.
Oh, absolutely. We need that ninja rogue subclass.
But like a really good one.
Mhm.
So other things, histories and history tellers are very important on Kamigawa. So it's another good flavor of bard. There are the kami, living spirits that kind of stand for parts of the world and nature itself. And the kami would make very fascinating things to deal with for a warlock, for a druid, you know? Then you have all the monsters like the dragons, the oni. There's a lot of very fun things. Then you get into the fact that there's a lot of playable creature options, like the Nezumi, rat people.
Yeah, Jenny mentioned them in the chat. The rat folk race.
Then there is. So, Sleepy.
Hi.
Sleepy, I have an important question for you.
Yes.
If tomorrow there was a book coming out for D&D that said that they were doing Kitsune, what do you think would happen?
I mean, I know I'd really want to play one.
They are, in fact, in Kamigawa.
Good shit. So, fun fact, my first ever internet Sona was a kitsune. An awfully designed kitsune because I was a middle schooler, but I got roots in that, baby. I got
And then
They are very cool.
the Soratami, the moonfolk. who are a very unique, very MTG-centric creature. That includes our favorite planeswalker, Tomio, who was the first to fall to the Phyrexians.
Oh.
Rip Tomio. She was so nice. She's just a really nice person. She gets got.
And by the time Neon Dynasty hits, the Moonfolk are part of the Futurists, a group of people who believe in the supremacy of technology over the arcane or the natural. So a lot of Soratami, a lot of the Moonfolk are, in fact, partly or fully mechanical by the time we return to Kamigawa, which I think just lends itself to such a unique creature that you can play.
Yeah. There's also Kara's favorite race, which is the Praying Mantis race from Kamigawa.
The Kamakiri.
Ever wanted to play a Praying Mantis? Very cool.
I'm trying to think of other things. But if we haven't convinced you yet.
I mean, it's a cyberpunk world. Like it is cyberpunk in the fact it's a little more hopeful than most cyberpunk stories. So if you wanted a more hopeful cyberpunk setting,
I would appreciate
Kamigawa's
I like
excellent.
settings. I mean, here's the thing, guys. It's the thing. You've taught me all this cool world lore, all this shit. Now you gotta teach me how to play the game.
Yeah, that's the
We'll
part.
teach you how to play MTG sometime.
Someday. The other interesting thing, the other fun mystery deep in the heart of Kamigawa is the fate of the Emperor. The Emperor of Kamigawa. The fate of the Emperor of Kamigawa is a big mystery until you play the set. But to keep a long story very short, she's a planeswalker. And the world of Kamigawa is feeling the weight of her absence. And that is a big part of the story. So much so that our main character and the storyline is looking for the Emperor. And that's a very big, cool story beat. But even beyond that mystery, there is the city faction arguments between people with different beliefs of what should endure in the city, between, again, the natural world, the arcane, and technology. And all of that comes to a head in a really, really cool way. Also, in case you were wondering how hard they went into promoting Kamigawa, the music we're listening to is part of the Kamigawa OST that they made before the new Capenna one.
I remember I have heard the song that Oreo did that I really like.
Yes.
I found it by complete accident and I listened to it on loop, so the moment you started talking about it, I was like, wait, actually, fuck, I know this, I know what this is. Which is funny, just because I learned it through osmosis because of a fucking kick-ass song.
Yeah. The OSTs really did sell the sets of last year, I think.
I think it's really cool that they make OSTs for all their sets.
Yeah. So, with that, I believe that's the settings we would love to see be TTRPG settings. Obviously, if someone broke Kamigawa to be for Blades in the Dark or, well, Cyberpunk, I think it also worked really well. But, you know.
Yeah.
Is there other things you want to get into, Sleepy?
We have been going for about 2 hours. So
we might be hitting the end of the road here.
Yeah, if we've gotten through everything y'all wanted to get through, here are doodles. Very scattered, because I put a lot more detail into them than I usually do.
Hey, they were very cute. I appreciated.
Thank you.
I appreciate the one of me and B a normal.
This one? Where I directly quoted you guys?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Did you guys have any closing statements you wanted to make before we end stream?
So, I'm going to say it's a very fraught time right now with making more things in D&D, but that doesn't mean that your creativity should be slowing down in any way, shape, or form. Finding other systems to run these settings in is a really fun idea. Like, I'm really into the idea of Phorexia.
Honestly, weird take. You know what might work for Kamigawa? Thirsty sword lesbians.
I could see it.
I could see it. I've also just been looking for an excuse to run that system.
No, that would work. I mean, you could definitely do Pathfinder Zendikar. Or
I bet you could do Starfinder. I don't know much about Starfinder, but I bet you could do that in Kamigawa.
I believe I actually played a Starfinder once, if it's the space TTRPG I'm thinking of.
Yes, it is.
I played... You guys didn't know me back then, but go off, King. I played a little rat folk. I believe they're called the Yusoki, so if that's Starfinder...
That is what they're called in
okay,
Starfinder,
then yes, it is Starfinder. I played a little rat girl. Her name was Skip. She had proficiency in knife, and she once did brain surgery on a man and tried to heal it with a Hello Kitty Band-Aid.
Amazing.
Did not work.
Understandable. I think Starfinder could genuinely work for Kamigawa, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to, I think there's a very good list of things you could do for all of these settings.
Oh, absolutely. If you wanted to
Blades
think
in the
about
Dark,
it.
Nuka Penna is a thought, actually.
Blades in the Dark, Nuka Penna. You could do Call of Cthulhu, New Phorexia, I bet, or
yeah, if you don't want to
maybe
get your
Delta
character
Green.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delta Green maybe.
Those would be good.
You could do that's more detective stuff, but you could have stuff like that. You could do B. It would cause so much. You'd have to break it so bad. But do you know what you could do? Vampire the Masquerade, New Capenna.
You would have to break that really hard, but it'd be interesting.
You have to break it so hard, but it would be so cool.
But yeah, I hope that's the main thing you walk away from is there's a lot of ways you can take ideas and go different places with them, and we want to see all of them.
Yeah.
And even with free things from things you love, you turn it into something cool for your friends.
Listen, we're all looking forward to see what you guys can create with how your interpretations of different things in one of our cool things that you've been info-dumped about it. I hope at least part of our info-dump has gotten you excited about at least one thing that we've said here today.
It's definitely got me excited. But also, I get excited about everything. I'm a dweeb.
I will also say, in closing, if you want to support people.
Yes, I was about to ask, how would you guys like to promote yourselves?
Go.
Well, B and I are both on the show Parallel to Anywhere, which is going to be coming back soon. But it's already got some episodes out on Spotify and YouTube. You should go give them a listen. They're a lot of fun. If you like this multiverse stuff and playing card games and dumb jokes, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. I will also be eventually putting out my own podcast, D&D actual play. That was a D&D a long time beforehand. I can't change now, unfortunately. Called Tales from the Mist, which deals with a little bit of horror. And if anyone knows about a certain setting in D&D, you'll know what I mean when I say mist.
And B.
Sip. Hi, I'm B. Besides being Parallel to Anywhere, I made the indie tabletop World of Wildevere, which is a very lighthearted, free, open setting with a lot of childish, whimsy at the core. So if you want something a little more lighthearted, Wildevere is definitely the place to be. And I also write on the DMs Guild.
Oh, buy B stuff. It's very good.
And here's
it
doesn't support
I will say,
wizards.
huh?
Buying your things does not give money to wizards.
Not as much as you would think.
Yeah.
There's a royalty, technically speaking, but there's not anything anyone can do about the royalty. But I will say, I am 41 sales away on my first book, the Biblioplex Archive, from getting a gold medal on there, which is a pretty big deal. So any
Got a
support
lot of
for that
cool
would be
spells. The
thanks.
Biblioplex Archive is connected to Strixhaven. It's an add-on for that book, so if you were interested at all with Strixhaven, you should go check it out.
I've already bought
And
it.
then I also do a lot of books, 2 books with Vega, who showed up in the art here,
She's right here.
in her cosmic store. And honestly, interestingly, I've been thinking about it. Vega's store can appear in just about any game you. It does not mean.
Mm-hmm.
She's really pretty and really cool.
Vega runs a cosmic store that appears anywhere you go in the multiverse. I have genuinely been considering what if I just ported Vega's store into every system imaginable.
Which you could do and should do. Post her. Post her everywhere. Make sure she's everywhere. Make sure you see her when you close your eyes and sleep. Okay, maybe don't go that far, but yes.
No. I'd be uncomfortable. Should we call it there then?
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it there in regards to streams coming up. At the moment, all I really know for sure is that this week is going to be the first episode of Strixhaven. Like I mentioned before, I got a whole wonderful cast of players, but it will be rotating as it is an open table that I have a bunch of friends involved with. That is going to be our every other Wednesday slot until the campaign I am writing, Circus of Dreams, is up and ready to go. I'm putting a butt ton of work into it to make sure it is as good as it can be. Other than that, I don't really have anything for sure until we loop back around to Curse of Strahd, Cage of Blood and Bone, which is my other regular D&D stream. I know D&D is a turbulent thing right now, but you gotta remember, I bought this stuff ahead of time, so really, by supporting it, you're giving me money, not Wizards money. You know, I'd like your money, please. I kid. But yep, I have my YouTube, I have my Twitter, at SleepySheepyAwoe, follow that for updates. I got a Discord, link to it is in my Twitter, and watch Realm Jumper when it comes out. I voice Chase, and Midnight and Bee both write on it. That is all I gotta say. Stream got really fucked up for a bit. That's fine. Take care of yourself. You're worth it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye!